Why does an engagement test a friendship rather than bringing people closer together? You'd think that engagements would bring friends closer together. They're a happy moment, right? But in my experience, engagements seem to do the absolute opposite, testing friendships to breaking point. Take my university friend Vivienne. When she announced her engagement last summer, I was thrilled. We chatted about the day in such detail for years, from the location to her dream dress designer, that I'd assumed it was a given I'd be a bridesmaid. When she stopped responding to my calls and cancelled on our weekly brunches, I initially chalked it up to the stress of organizing a wedding and starting a new job. But a few months later, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw a picture of Vivienne and 5 other friends of friends by the Eiffel Tower, accompanied with the caption "Bridesmaids on tour." Only then did I realize the reason for her sudden disappearance. She'd picked her childhood friend, Jessie, who'd once launched a tirade at me after confronting her about her constant Islamophobic Facebook rants. Clearly fearing another showdown between me and her, Vivienne thought it would be easier to blacklist me than have us in the same room. For months after, I veered from frustration to shock, dreading the run-up to her wedding. I constantly wondered if the Jessie incident was a way to excuse her behavior or if other factors were at play. Did I get ditched because I had hooked up with Vivienne's oldest guy friend who was bound to bring his new girlfriend along? Or was it because I was single, so we no longer had as much in common? I started to question whether I needed someone who had divided our friendship circle in such a way that the girls who weren't selected as bridesmaids were excluded from all the goings-on. It wasn't just uncomfortable for me, but for any other friends who hadn't made the cut. Soon after, I phased her out. I did feel guilt when she reached out to ask why I had deleted her off social media, but I deleted the message. Thanks to that experience, I'm wary when friends get engaged. It's easy to be dismissed as a jealous friend. After all, it can be a timely reminder that you're nowhere near marriage. But my unhappiness didn't stem from her upcoming nuptials, but how it wrecked our friendship. It seems I'm not the only one struggling with this. A recent report flagged that 1/3 of British brides no longer talk to women they choose as bridesmaids, with most blaming arguments over money and ugly bridesmaid dresses. Women report losing friends and being out of pocket. I asked Irene S. Levine, Ph.D., psychologist and friendship expert, why an engagement tests friendships rather than bringing them closer together. She says it can represent 2 lives departing on separate paths. The engaged woman starts spending more time with her husband-to-be and less time with her friends, especially single friends, Irene tells metro.co.uk. She may be spending more time as a couple with couple friends, both hers and her fiancé's. The newly engaged woman also may be heavily involved in wedding planning, so she may be spending more time with the people in her bridal party as opposed to other girlfriends. In hindsight, I wonder if I was upset about the growing gulf between our lives. After all, she did seem to have moved on while I was still swiping right on Tinder. Even so, I felt more like the engagement was a metaphor for our friendship, that I simply didn't make the cut. Joe Hemmings, behavioral media and celebrity psychologist, agrees, saying that when a friend gets engaged, it can feel as much a sense of loss or sadness for the lifestyle change that goes with it. To be left out of an engagement seems quite a brutal statement. It's as if you'd have been told very clearly that life has moved on to a new phase, and you may not be so welcome in it. Joe explains that exclusion can feel quite isolating. Hemmings adds that some friends may never get over the feeling of being sidelined or even rejected at a key moment. If changes in lifestyles and behavior weren't bad enough, there's also the looming pressure of the engagement race to contend with. Once one person from your friendship group gets engaged, everyone looks around to see who will be next. Lorna, 36, a TV producer from Cardiff, tells us, "I was taken aback when a close friend of 8 years reacted to our engagement, was a brief congratulations, followed by a 'we won't be far behind you.' Even a mutual friend commented she's stolen your thunder as she announced her engagement only a few days later. Why do women look hotter after they've been cheated on? Australian